Welcome into Black and Gold Insider. This is the show where we get to know the members of the Black and Gold a little bit better. And I know we have a very strict dress code, but we're going to make an exception because Thomas Hasal, LAFC goalkeeper, just came back from his training session. You made some time for us, so we're very appreciative.
Of course, guys. Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Look at that. He's ready to go. And by the way, Thomas, you continue our very rich tradition of Canadian players on LAFC. Tell us a little bit about where you're from.
Yeah, born and raised Canadian. I was born in Ontario, believe it or not, spent the first 8 years of my life there, and then I moved to Alberta and then Saskatchewan, where my family is now, before joining up in Vancouver.
That's quite, I mean, you could not be more Canadian. There's 7 provinces, am I correct? Forgive my ignorance.
Yeah, you are correct. We got some territories, but that's where we are for provinces.
Okay, provinces. So how many have you been to in your travels?
You know what? I've been to, must have been to 6 of them at this point. So there's a couple on the East Coast on the East Coast far at the very end that I got to go to. So,
which is the ones? I'm curious. Which one have you not been to?
PEI.
Prince Edward Island. Okay,
yeah,
so we got to cross that off the list, Thomas.
I know, one day. Hopefully I still got some time.
So Ontario, Alberta, and I was looking at your bio from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
That's right.
Would you consider that hometown?
That's my home. That's where my family is. It's where I spend my off seasons. I've got definitely a deep personal connection there with all my friends, family, and it's a special place where everybody kind of gathers around. So it truly feels like home.
That's awesome. And, back here on this side of the border, we'd always look at Canada and go, oh, yeah, they're cute. And then all of a sudden, you guys passed us. You guys have, and it's from everywhere. It's not just Ontario and Quebec, but you're from Saskatchewan. Alfonso Davies is from Alberta also. So it's thorough.
Yeah, we got, honestly, our national team and everyone, we got players from all over. So it's such a cool country with so many different environments that produce so many different players, personalities that all get to come together and, at this stage, compete on the world stage.
We're very impressed. And I know we're all going to be pulling for Canada next summer as well. How has the Canadian contingent helped you here at LAFC? You got Mathieu Choinière, you have Ryan Raposo, who I believe both arrived after you did. And then you have Marc Dos Santos. Is it getting a little cliquey over there with you guys?
I wouldn't say cliquey, but it's definitely nice to have, see some Canadian faces. I know when I first got down here, having Mark here, who I obviously worked with a lot and very closely in Vancouver, was fantastic. You get straight into the club, you see a familiar face, he makes you feel right at home. So I was very appreciative for that. And now, I spent all of last year thinking I miss my Canadians. I know I got Mark here, but it would be nice to have some guys on the team. And of course, talking to Ryan Raposo over the off season, it was always a possibility. And when he got down here, it was fantastic because it's somebody who I've lived in different apartment buildings with. So it was a close friend from Vancouver, and having him down here has been great. And as for Mathieu, it's fantastic because we grew up playing national teams together. So again, I've known him since I was 17. So having this group of guys here is, it's fantastic to have some guys who can relate. And again, we share in our Canadian holidays together. So.
All you guys are loving life in LA. I remember I went up to you and I said, okay, he's joined the club, hasn't played a whole lot yet. I go, are you enjoying LA? You go, I love it.
Yeah. Honestly, looking around the league when I was deciding where to go, obviously LAFC is one of those top destinations. When you play here away, you see the stadium, you see the fans. It's a club that's always pushing for trophies every year. They have such a high standard. So it was that kind of drew me into the club. But then once I got here, I think it's a club that takes pride in everything that they do, from the owners who are very involved and aggressive to the front office, to the coaches, to the support staff who try and prepare us in the best way for every single game. And then everyone around the building. You've been in here. The first thing I noticed in here was everybody's smiling, everybody's happy, the energy is fantastic. And everyone's doing whatever they can to help the team prepare and for us to be the best as we can. So yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed my time at the club. It's been fantastic. And then, of course, I've enjoyed LA, the city. It's been incredible. I didn't expect it to be this great, but I come from Canada, so we have so much snow all year round. So to be here in December, January, and I've got sunshine every single day. I've got the ocean. I love on the days off going out into nature. So the city kind of has everything, so much opportunity, and it's got so much to make use of, no matter what you're into. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed my time at the club so far.
You just cut the best LAFC Los Angeles promo to date. We might have to edit that out and post that separately, but brilliant.
Yeah, we can give that to the free agents next year.
Thomas, it's been great to see you develop, because we know the life of the backup goalkeeper, and you've been thrust into action. We're going to talk about that. But I want to go back to 2020, where we first heard of you, the year of COVID, and the legend of Thomas Hasal was born. MLS, like every other league, had a huge dilemma. Do they go on with their sport? Do they table it for now with COVID looming? In the end, they decided to go forward, and MLS is Back tournament, which was an enclosed tournament in Orlando. You were a third string keeper with Vancouver. Then tell us what happened next.
Yes, so MLS is back. Obviously, we had that long COVID break prior to the tournament. So I was very fortunate that I had access to a training facility. I had access to stay fit, training the entire time. So going into returning with the team, I was in such a good space. And of course, going into this COVID tournament, which was one of a kind in the bubble, I came in as the third choice goalkeeper. We had some unfortunate circumstances for the second, who had to leave. So then the very first game where I was the second goalkeeper on the bench, if I was going to be called upon, Max Trapo at the time unfortunately broke his hand. So it was like the first game where I had that opportunity. I was thrust into action straight away, but I was in such a good moment at that time that I was able to come in, help the team as best as I could, just truly enjoy being in the moment, enjoy playing, enjoying, you work so hard for those opportunities. So just to be out there competing with the team and like being able to grasp that was a fantastic experience. And of course, after getting on the field, playing and doing well, I was also determined. I was like, this is my opportunity to grab it with two hands. And, once you're on the pitch, it's you out there. So it was my chance to kind of stake my claim on the position. So it was a great tournament. Unfortunately, I would have loved to keep going further and further, but it gave me the opportunity to continue playing the rest of the season and kind of make my mark in MLS at that point.
Well, I got to say, Thomas, when I go back and I think of that moment and everyone was down, and then those kind of performances, certainly for us in the MLS circle, was a real lift. And I remember seeing that, and I was like, this just for a moment, you feel good, and seeing the sport back and seeing the guy living in the moment. I appreciate it a lot. I know I speak for a lot of folks as well.
Yeah, thank you. And you told me that before. Honestly, even when people bring it up to this day, it definitely warms my heart, because it was such a proud moment for myself, my family, and honestly, everybody who's been in my corner my whole life, from coaches, from mentors, to be able to kind of at a young age still be able to come on in such a time when everybody's watching and do justice to all the work I've put in before, and for everybody else that's helped me along the way.
Good stuff. Yeah, I repeat things a fair bit, but that's the way it is. And Thomas, nothing was given to you in your professional career. As you said, you've had to wait for your opportunities and seize it. Tell us a bit about finding your way as a pro goalkeeper. What are some good things that kept you upright and kept you focused on the job?
Yeah, I think I've been very fortunate. I come from a good family. My parents are both extremely supportive in whatever capacity they can at whatever time. And I've been fortunate, whether it was here at LAFC or Vancouver, the coaches around me, the mentors, the support staff, everyone's been able to kind of been the right mix of keeping you grounded, helping you improve, giving you the right opportunities. So I think they've really helped me find my way as a goalkeeper, and ultimately at the end of the day, the kind of person you want to be. I think from what I see, the best goalkeepers are humble people, but they're also extremely hardworking, because as we see, as a goalkeeper, you're the last line of defense. So many times you're the hero, but you make one mistake and you can be zero. So it's about keeping kind of a level head, and no matter what's in front of you, whatever situation, whether you're number one playing every single game, whether you're the backup and you've got to wait for an opportunity, it's just taking everything day by day in front of you and putting your best foot forward at every single point.
Let's talk about taking advantage of that opportunity. Leagues Cup, you and David Ochoa were given some chances to start, and then you got that game against Pachuca where it went to a penalty shootout. And, I remember this. You're like, you knew, right? In that penalty, you knew that you had this. You were just overflowing with confidence from our perspective. and then it certainly materialized there on the field. Take us back to that game.
Yeah, honestly, I was very thankful to get an opportunity to play. You know, I work the whole season, the whole off season for those kinds of moments. And I knew I was getting that game. So I wanted to just go in, enjoy being out on the field, but also all the work I put in to put that out into action. You know, this was your opportunity to kind of stake your claim. So me being on the field in that game, I was just, again, completely in the moment, enjoying it. And we had the red card, so you knew it was a game where you wanted to make an impact and you would have to make an impact. And then, of course, like us going to penalties, I love penalties as a goalkeeper. You know, it's, of course, I would love to win in regular time, but as soon as we were going there, it was, yeah, I think you have no other choice but in the moment to be confident and say, yeah, I've got this. I'm going to take it. You know, it's the mindset that you go into any penalty shot or anything you're going into life with. So it was an opportunity for me to help the team. And yeah, just so in the moment. There wasn't anything else going on in my head. It was just taking advantage of this opportunity in front of me that I've wanted for so long.
Thomas, I've talked to a lot of goalkeepers about penalty shootout. I don't think anyone's ever said, I love it. And I know they feel confident, but it can be a crapshoot. Saying you love it and then you make 2 penalty saves, how do you approach that shootout? What do you put in? How do you categorize things, or what do you prepare for so you can be ready for that very important moment?
To be honest, I remember even that morning, I like my slow mornings on a game day. So was sitting at a coffee shop, and our video staff do an incredible job. Like, they give us so much information on, probably had 15 shooters and all of their penalties over the time. So I'm sitting at a coffee shop. I've got a notebook. I'm looking at shooters, trying to see their tendencies, trying to think what I would do. And of course, you take this information with you to give you an idea, but then being in the moment, a lot of times it's a feeling. A lot of times it's trying to read the player. And truth be told, you also said it can be a bit of a crapshoot. So I'm very, very fortunate at the same time that things went my way that day. But of course, preparation is what sets us up to be able to have an opportunity to be able to perform like that.
I'm so glad I asked that question because I'm always curious about that. So you have all that information about the shooters, where they've gone in the past. They go left, they go right, maybe they go top bins, whatever. So you have all of that. Obviously, you got to make the decision, and we know preparation gets you there. But all that information you had at your fingertips.
I do. And again, credit to the staff here. Like, they give us everything that we ask for. So we've got everything to prepare. But again, when I've got one guy who's shot 3 times right, 3 times left, 3 times down the middle, once you get in the moment, you've got to make a decision. You've got to also rely on your instincts. So there's a point when they give us so much information and it's fantastic, but at the end of the day, you got to rely on your instincts. And again, I said it a few times, but just be in the moment.
Well, I just want to get out to those kids out there that want to be a goalkeeper. Do your homework. It makes a difference as well.
It can help. Yeah.
So you knew that game was coming, so you were able to prepare. But then there's games where you don't know what's going to happen, and we saw that against St. Louis. Hugo took a knock, had to come out at halftime, and you were thrust in. So what is the process there, and how do you get ready? Or is it something like where I have to stay ready from the beginning, even if I know I'm not going to play? So how do you prepare for that?
I think you said it extremely well. It's a point where you always know something can happen, so you always have to stay ready. And I was fortunate because the first time I ever went into a game was my first game where I was had that opportunity on the bench. So for me, it was like, straight away this can happen at any point, and you can never forget that. So it's always a case of staying ready, staying prepared. And a big part of it is like what we do on the training pitch with the staff and Oka here. It's no matter what position you're in, you're prepared to play, and you have to also have that belief that you're ready to play at any time. So yeah, it can be tough. You're right. Like, as a goalkeeper, like, rarely are you getting subbed on, but you know that anything can happen. Anything can happen tomorrow, and I can be in. So you've got to be ready because that's your opportunity again. And the team needs you, especially at this point.
Well, I'm sure you know about LAFC history, Thomas, and what happened in 2022 where a goalkeeper stayed ready and made history. Do you remember watching the 2022 MLS Cup and that moment with Maxime and John McCarthy?
Yes. Yeah, I do remember. That was a crazy game.
But is that something that you say, I go, man, what if that was me? And it certainly could be. What would I do?
Yeah, you do. You sit there and you think like, yeah, this this could be you at any point, any opportunity, and it really shows you that things can change in football in a blink of an eye. So again, you got to be ready to take that opportunity.
You mentioned Oka Nikolov, the goalkeeping coach, and I remember watching that game. There was like a TV there, so the Fox cameras cut to Oka, and he was very matter of fact. Goes to John McCarthy. I don't know what he said, but it was probably something like, "Well, we talked about this. This is the moment. Are you ready to go?" Has Oka ever talked to you about that? I'm sure he has, about how you prepare for being ready and that process that follows.
Yeah, he has. He has. And Oka's great. Like, he prepares us on the pitch. Again, no matter what role you are, you're always ready to play. He makes sure of that. And again, he's played at the highest of levels. So he understands the position from playing to not playing. He understands the challenges of both sides. So he's got a fantastic perspective on it. And he's also good because he doesn't overload you with information, because he understands that you're just focused on your task, but he gives you these small pieces that can just help you, you know? So whether it be against St. Louis, obviously Hugo goes down and straight away you think, all right, you could be going on now, you got to be ready. But Oka's also there being like, okay, time to go now, or time to do this. Like, and he doesn't overload you. He trusts you. He knows what it's like, but he'll give you little tidbits. So he's, fantastic.
That's great. We know Oka's been fantastic, obviously, as an MLS Cup winner. And then you have Hugo Lloris. Tell us about that relationship, and how has he rubbed off on you here in 2025?
Yes. I mean, I can't say enough good things about Hugo. You know him.
Tell us some bad things then. I'm just kidding. Just go ahead.
Yeah, as a human being, he's fantastic. Listen, like, off the pitch, on the pitch, he helps you. He's very personable. He's got a great character, so it's somebody you can look up to and take pieces in that respect. And then on the field, like, we're talking about World Cup winner, France's captain, like the highest of the high level. And he has his own style, but there's so many countless pieces of his games that you can take away from. And truth be told, he was a big reason why I came here. He was a big pull, because I looked at my career, and of course, you want to be playing games, but at the same time, to be able to come into such a top club and learn from one of the best goalkeepers of the last generation, I thought of as a fantastic opportunity to really better myself. And at the end of the day, yeah, we want to be in the best situation as players, but you also want to be the best player you can be. So it's been such a great opportunity to learn and take different things from Hugo, whether it's on the pitch or off the pitch. And at the same time, I need to remember that I'm not him. I'm my own goalkeeper. So it's about taking pieces that work for him. Maybe they work for me, maybe they don't, and seeing the game in different perspectives. But he's got so much experience, and even watching the way that he manages games, manages different situations is a great learning opportunity.
Wow, what a great approach, Thomas. This has been exceptional. I feel like we're in very good hands, literally, with you there. And carving out some time, and all the best. And certainly love everyone in Saskatoon tuning in. We know they are, to see their guy, Thomas Hasal. Good stuff, man. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you. Thanks, Max.
Thomas Hasal, goalkeeper for LAFC, joining us here on Black and Gold Insider. That's all the time we have for this week. We'll be back again next week. Until then, this is Max saying, let's go Black and Gold.